Tonight, a former Port Lincoln mayor slams plans to demolish the local theatre, and dementia patients to benefit from new equipment in Jamestown.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. A group of Port Lincoln residents have taken a swipe at council over plans to redevelop parts of the city. The council is pushing ahead with its plans, but is holding an information session later this month.
A fight is brewing in the heart of Port Lincoln, with a former mayor making his voice heard.
I am appalled at what this council is doing.
Residents are firing up, slamming council's plans to redevelop parts of the city.
It was just hideous in my opinion.
Earlier this year, the City Council released plans for 4 ambitious projects. Upgrades to the foreshore and fast-tracking stormwater mitigation proving controversial.
We have a beautiful beach and it's pristine the way it is.
But the current mayor says people are judging the projects without seeing the bigger picture.
These proposed changes still have to be refined and still are open to consultation again.
Perhaps most controversial is the planned bulldozing of the city's theatre behind me, set to make way for a new cinema and library complex. Peter Davies not mincing his words about the incumbent.
I am appalled at the leadership we are getting from Brad.
My leadership is neither here nor there. The fact is that the CEO and his team have got these projects together very quickly because we have the funding available to us at the moment.
Opponents have now set up an action group with a meeting planned for tomorrow.
It's about all of the ratepayers having a say, and I think this is one way that they might be heard.
But council is pushing ahead, hosting an information session at the Nautilus Theatre on March 22nd. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
GFG Alliance says it has enough funds available after reports emerge one of its biggest financiers is facing a restructure. Greensill recently lost access to $10 billion worth of funding from banking giant Credit Suisse. It's one of the biggest backers of GFG Alliance, which owns the Wireless Steelworks. A Greensill spokesperson telling News Corp it's talking to new investors. Treasurer Rob Lucas telling Parliament today he is monitoring the situation.
I have been following for many months, Mr President, in international financial circles, stories of a similar nature.
GFG says it has plans to bring in fresh capital, and the business has improved its position in recent months. Clare Police are sending an urgent warning to residents following a raft of scams circulating in the region. A local received a phone call from a scammer claiming to be from the tax office. Shortly after, another resident received a call from an identical number, but this time claiming to be from Clare's police station.
Sadly, the local became a victim and was talked into withdrawing money from their bank account and depositing it into another fraudulent account. The victim lost a significant amount of money.
Anyone with information is being urged to contact Crime Stoppers. The RSPCA is being given almost $1.8 million to upgrade its vet hospital in Broken Hill. The New South Wales government committing more than $10 million in total to shelters across the state. But the member for Barwon is questioning the timing of the announcement, just weeks after he and his party colleagues voted against increased powers for RSPCA officers.
I think that's because we're all from rural constituencies and the people in our electorates have told us how badly it can go when the RSPCA is not kept in check.
The bill passed the lower house and will be read in the upper house this month. An additional $5 million is being poured into regional tourism through a South Australian government program. Regional operators able to access thousands of dollars to help develop their businesses.
This Whyalla tourism operator spreading the good news.
Really exciting time for those sort of businesses in the tourism industry that are looking to take another step and just maybe look outside of what they're currently doing and build on that.
Under the state government initiative, accommodation and tourism operators could be eligible to receive anywhere between $20,000 to $500,000. The grant's capped at 30% of the total project cost.
It's really exciting for Whyalla to see that kind of growth and people looking to grow and expand what they're doing already.
The government injecting more than $20 million so far, with 31 projects approved across 9 of the state's 11 regions. Local businesses encouraged to apply for the grant, with many already signing up for the offer.
We've got some accommodation houses that are talking to us about some big developments in their properties and or sideline opportunities.
In a statement, the South Australian government says boosting vitalisation across the state's regional areas is key to helping the tourism industry recover.
We had a really exciting and busy December and January. So exciting to see so many people moving around and really enjoying our space. They're so surprised by Whyalla, and we're really excited to show them how great Whyalla is.
Sophia Contigonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Jamestown's Helping Hand Centre is welcoming a new machine designed to help dementia patients with their cognitive activity. After a tough year for the home, management is hoping this new technology will benefit their residents.
A small projector set to make a world of difference.
An interactive technology that brings together light and music and colour to specifically designed for people living with dementia to stimulate their cognitive, their physical and their social interaction.
Dementia Australia figures reveal a staggering 250 people are diagnosed with the condition every day. This machine costs $15,000 and has been donated by Jamestown's auxiliary group.
On the internet and saw how they worked and saw residents playing with it, and I thought they would be a great thing, particularly for people with a dementia.
A cherished community space, group members are hoping it will help these residents. The good news follows a tough year for the centre with limited visitations allowed.
We've worked hard to furnish, do things for the home, and it's very rewarding to see where our money goes.
Helping Hands is hoping this technology could be installed at centres across the Mid-North, including at Clare and Port Pirie.
It brings great joy to people, and whether you're 2 years old or 92 years old, people love to play. And so this unit allows people to interact with the images.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a Whyalla business takes to the streets for a clean-up. And final preparations underway for Friday's Port Lincoln Cup. Welcome back. The Far West Local Health District says it's addressing concerns around parking at the Broken Hill Hospital. The car park closest to the main entrance near the drop-off zone will now be dedicated to patients and visitors during the week. They say access for the elderly and infirm has been of concern lately, particularly when the recently reopened Thomas Street entry was closed. Staff will be able to use the car park after hours and during weekends. Whyalla Centrecare spent the morning running its annual business clean-up as part of this year's Clean Up Australia event. In its 6th year, staff took to the streets, filling up bags of rubbish in their surrounding neighbourhood.
A pickup tool in one hand and a rubbish bag in the other. These Centrecare workers making the streets around their office space look clean once again.
Today we are participating in the business clean-up for Centrecare Catholic Country SA. This is our 6th year that we've been doing this.
Staff picking up rubbish along Head Street and throughout Norton Park.
Got some kits from Clean Up Australia, and so what we're doing today is really just taking some gloves and some bags, so there's recycle bags and also some general rubbish bags.
The group of 15, dressed in their high-vis jackets, doing their part for the community.
As an organisation, it's important for us to recognise that we do have an impact in one way or another, and we also want to make sure that we are giving back and really keeping our communities beautiful.
Leading by example, the staff were excited to be making a difference.
It shows that Centrecare cares, and we care as well about our community and keeping it clean and neat.
Feeling really good for us to be able to come out here. We're all really passionate here at Centrecare about working in our community and also being really passionate about our corporate social responsibility to our community and the environment.
For us to be out here in really bright colours and just demonstrating that we can spend a little bit of time but make quite a difference throughout our streets and our communities, I think is a really important message for everyone.
Sophia Contigonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Preparations for Friday's Port Lincoln Cup are underway, with organisers working around the clock. Hundreds of punters are expected to flood through the gates for the Lower Eyre Peninsula's premier horse racing event.
It's the cup they're all competing for, but only one can take it home.
It's always a difficult race to win, and a race that every trainer on Eyre Peninsula and some of our visitors from Adelaide desperately would like to win.
Preparations for this year's Port Lincoln Cup are well underway as the racing industry emerges from COVID.
Our New Year's Eve meeting was our first significant meeting under our COVID management plan, and that event also sold out. It was a terrific atmosphere.
The premier event would usually attract more than 3,000 racegoers from across the country, but COVID restrictions have capped this year's attendance at just 1,750.
It is scaled back a little bit. There's less marquees this year.
COVID restrictions will be in place, with organisers keeping a close eye on punters. Guests will have to check in through QR codes and mind their distance.
It's a ticketed event. The other thing that they'll need to do, obviously, is have their tickets scanned.
The stakes set to be just as high off the track, with a fashion at the races back again.
We're on schedule and very much looking forward to Friday.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Meanwhile, tickets are selling fast in the lead up to the St Pat's races, one of the busiest events on Broken Hill's calendar. But local businesses are hoping more people will travel to the town, with snap border uncertainties leading many to abandon their plans.
Just 10 days to go until the race is run. The gamble to go ahead with St Pat's this year seemingly paying off.
I think the relief will come when the race meeting's actually over. We've still got about 10 days or a week to go, and as I said, we're very mindful of the situation.
Over 1,500 tickets have already been sold. Organisers expect that total to reach 2,000 between now and next Saturday.
Most local Broken Hill people who want general admission will probably come into the office in the 3 or 4 days leading up.
The event normally injects up to $4 million into the local economy, but some businesses say travellers are still hesitant to commit to bookings.
With the bookings, usually it's booked a year in advance. Now we've had so many cancellations and it's back to online bookings.
Many leaving their travel plans to the last minute so they don't get caught by snap border closures.
We're not expecting a lot of tourists to come to town. We're kind of expecting it to be a little bit quieter than our normal St Pat's, but at least we've got it going. At least it's a step in the right direction.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. An exhibition focused on the Kangaroo Island bushfires opens in Broken Hill, and Quorn locals learn the value of native flora. Port Pirie Council is reminding residents to keep pets on leashes when walking the streets, posting some timely reminders on its Facebook page. The local mayor says allowing dogs to run freely can be a safety risk.
It only takes a loud motorbike or a car to scare a dog, and we'd hate to see the consequences of that. There we have dog parks that we can take the dog and allow the dog to run freely and all that sort of stuff, so I prefer that they did that.
Information on the dog park can be found on the council's website. 3 new exhibitions have opened at the Broken Hill Regional Art Gallery, showcasing work from seasoned professionals to hobby artists. Among them, a moving piece on the devastating Kangaroo Island bushfires.
Blackened tree stumps and the ghostly remains of buildings, an emotional reflection on last year's KI bushfires.
I was looking for a girlfriend's house and I couldn't find it, so everything on that road that was familiar became unfamiliar.
A former resident of the island, Jane Skeer, took on a residency, collecting burnt tree stumps which took on a life of their own.
Started picking them up and turning them upside down, and their root system became these heads.
Large canvases carrying an expression of damage the fires caused.
Instead of playing with them sculpturally like I normally do with the material, I started smashing them with a hammer, and all of a sudden I thought, I'm treating these the way the fire was treating them.
Kathy Graham also making an environmental statement in her work Anthropocene.
Just to get people to stop and think about, our influence on the environment and what we're doing to it.
Combining organic and synthetic material and produced as naturally as possible.
The clay is predominantly raku, which is smoke-fired, and I work on a kick wheel as well.
Not to be outdone, works from the Williama Arts Society also on display. Dip Ditch this year's theme, bringing multiple pieces together in a single artwork.
They exhibit a wonderful level of talent.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A local art show has been recognised as one of Australia's most prestigious murals. The Quorn Silo Art Show receiving silver in the 2020 Australian Street Art Awards last night. It was selected earlier this year as a finalist in the Best Mega Mural category, along with a number of works across the country. The show uses outdoor art to transform the streetscapes and bring local stories to life on the Jewel Tower silos. Regional communities are getting an insight into native plant species as part of a new series of workshops. Organised by the SA Arid Lands Landscape Board, they say it's giving residents the tools to grow their own backyard.
It's the workshop helping locals learn more about native plants. Held in Quorn, this session is one of many being provided across the region.
We're offering it as a series of workshops across the SA Arid Lands region, so right up to Oodnadatta and Murray and Inaminka.
From learning how to plant a native garden to identifying different soil types. This session is aimed at giving residents the tools they need to transform their own backyard.
So by copying what we see, what works in nature and what looks good for us, we can copy that in our garden. So yeah, we'll be talking a bit about natural ecosystems and some biodiversity values too.
With some regional communities coming off the back of 3 years of drought. She says the workshops are tailored to help everyone's gardens grow.
By encouraging people to use local natives, then they have a better chance of success in their garden. And if we learn how to look after them properly, they can make a really beautiful, attractive garden.
Yeah, so native plants are great options for gardens. They're very drought tolerant, don't need much water and don't need much nutrients or fertilisers either.
Anyone who is interested is encouraged to register for the next one.
Because we want to keep everyone COVID safe, we do recommend that you RSVP as soon as you can, so we have a good idea of numbers and everyone's welcome.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We check the latest regional fuel prices and we'll have the weather details with Alex. Hello again. Prices at the petrol pump continue to climb, but for the most part, unleaded is cheaper than in the city. Here's Lachlan Itter with Fuel Watch.
Petrol pump pain grows again this week, with prices at the Bowser going up across our region. Broken Hill has smashed the $1.40 ceiling, and while that's only a slight increase on last week, it once again cements the hill as the most expensive place in our region to fill up. The ups and downs of Adelaide's fuel cycle sees unleaded jump to $1.39 there, so it's best to hold off and fill up in the country on the return trip. Port Pirie and Kadeen are the best in our region, offering around $1.30 a litre. That's despite both of those towns seeing the largest increase in price. Port Lincoln and Port Augusta at $1.33 a litre, Whyalla slightly more, $1.34 there. Over to diesel, and Kadina is an oasis in a sea of red, dropping just over a cent to $1.30 a litre. Port Lincoln still takes the cake though, where a litre will set you back $1.28. Port Augusta and Port Pirie around $1.30. Pirie seeing a comparatively large jump from last week, $1.33 in Whyalla, and more bad news for Broken Hill here, with prices climbing to $1.41. Prices remain stable in Adelaide, so if you're heading there over the long weekend, you'll pay around $1.25 mark. And finally, we can take some solace in auto gas prices. A minute drop sees drivers in Port Augusta now pay 97 cents for a litre of gas. Port Pirie and Broken Hill unchanged, and our cheapest regional centres, 91 cents there. Kadina at the more expensive end of the 91 cent bracket, Whyalla and Port Lincoln just under $1 a litre. Another tiny jump for city motorists, auto gas 79 cents in the capital. Remember, as always, that these prices are the regional averages and do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do spot unleaded, diesel or auto gas cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. With all the latest details, here's Alex Sykes.
Good evening. Hope you've had a good Wednesday. From 3 p.m. today, Port Lincoln reached 22, partly cloudy and 26 in Broken Hill, and it was mostly sunny and 31 in Port Pirie. 29 the top for Woodner, mostly sunny, and 23 in Kadina and Cleve. Clare, similar conditions, and 24 was 39 in Cooper Pedy, 26 degrees and mostly sunny in Whyalla, mostly sunny and 31 in Port Augusta, and 25 and sunny in Adelaide. Low cloud in far southeastern South Australia with onshore winds is not producing any rain. Patchy cloud over central parts with a weak trough is only causing the odd shower. Skies are generally clear elsewhere under high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Winds north to southeasterly 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 2 metres, and south to southwesterly swell around 1 metre. Port Lincoln looking at a cloudy top of 23 degrees tomorrow. Cleve sunny and 26 there. Woodner a maximum of 32. Whyalla sunny and 26, Port Augusta 32, Kadina set to reach a top of 28. Port Pirie sunny and 30 degrees, Clare 27, and Broken Hill will reach 28. Taking a look further through the week now, mainly sunny conditions across the Gulf on Friday, except for in the south where it'll be cloudy. Whyalla and Kadina both set to top 28, Port Augusta 32 degrees, Cooper Pedy with the region's top of 35, and Broken Hill 30. Cloudy across the region on Saturday, sunny in Broken Hill, partly cloudy in Cooper Pedy 35, Port Augusta a degree cooler with a top of 34, 29 in both Whyalla and Kadina. Similar conditions on Sunday, 34 in Port Augusta and Woodner, 32 in Broken Hill and Port Pirie, 29 in Kadina and Whyalla. So not looking like a bad weekend there, John, and that's all the weather from me. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.